Hi friends, in the last class I've explained you about the treatment of goodwill. We had discussion on admission, what are the entries to be passed, and retirement, what are the entries to be passed. I think those few things we have learned in the last class. And today's class, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to explain you the adjustment which we need to do on admission of a partner. Today's session I'll be starting with you with admission of a partner. So let me quickly recap whatever so far we have discussed. We have learned how to prepare P&L appropriation account from examination point of view. I'm telling you the things to be remembered from examination point of view. P&L appropriation account, how to prepare, and we have worked out few problems. How to open various capital account, that is methods of capital, fixed capital, fluctuating, and then we have learned how to compute the goodwill by various methods. We got 4 methods of goodwill that we have discussed, and also we have learned the treatment of goodwill. I think these 4 things has been completed. Now we are into admission, retirement, death. These 3 things. So first, what I do, I will be giving you today's lecture is to understand what are the adjustments that we need to make when a partner has been admitted. This is point number 1. Then after that, point number 2, I will be discussing with you after completion of admission of partner, the adjustments. Then the next class we can go for working on the problems. So point number 1 today is, my discussion today is about what are the adjustments we need to make when partner is admitted. You might have learned in the law, admission, retirement or death is called as reconstitution of a partnership firm. Reconstitution of partnership firm does not dissolve the firm. Right. So it does not dissolve the firm. The agreement, they are going for change in the agreement. The profit sharing ratio will change. When why there is a change in profit sharing ratio? Simple example. When one partner is joining the firm, the existing distribution among the partners will definitely change. Whenever there is a change in the distribution of divisible profits, sharing of divisible profits, you need to go for adjustments. Now, what are those adjustments? Simple. Like when a partner has been admitted, let's suppose you take your own example. After completion of your CA course, you have decided you came to know your super senior was studied in the same institute, is looking for a partner in his professional firm. So you came to know, and he has called you also, that he has asked you to come and have a discussion. So you want to be enrolled as a partner by your super senior. The moment you go to him, generally if it is a live discussion, classroom discussion, I will be getting the answer. I am expecting the student to answer, but we can't do that. So just I am giving you question, and I myself is giving the answer also. If I am like a student, if I am like you, that I've been offered as a opportunity to be a part and parcel of a professional firm. So definitely, when I go and I meet him, I can't directly ask you what is my profit sharing ratio in the new firm. Or I can't ask him, sir, we have learned, sir has told us a goodwill. So how much goodwill I should bring? How much capital I should bring? I think these 3 questions you should never ask. Like as a partner, you really want to you want to enroll in the new firm as a partner, as a new partner, you cannot put these three questions straight away. Okay. First of all, you should understand why they need to admit a partner. It is very simple. It is because of the new partner intellectual skills, or if the existing partners wants to go for expansion of their business, or they need additional capital. In these two cases, they may be going for, they are giving a chance for somebody to join the new firm. Now, as I told you, when you have been invited to become a partner, first you should be looking at the financial position of existing partnership firm. What is it I told you? Financial position of an existing partnership firm. That is, before you want to join, you want to look at their balance sheet. Balance sheet. You want to look at their balance sheet. I'm using balance sheet of old firm. On the date of admission, you want to look at the balance sheet of the old firm. This is on the date of admission. Liabilities, assets. So generally, if there are two partners, say X and Y, their capital you want, then loan you want to look at it, then you want to look at it, their trade creditors or trade payable, bills payable, etc. And when you look at their balance sheet, you'll be looking at their fixed assets, say land, building, plant and machinery, furniture, debtors, bills receivable. This is other than trade payable, bills payable. This is other than debtors. Debtors actually in company accounts, we will be using the word trade payable is including bills payable. I am separating it. So trade payable is simple words for you to understand better, otherwise it will be having confusion. Let me write a creditors. I think you are comfortable in understanding it. Creditors, bills payable, debtor, bills receivable. Then you will be having cash or bank, whatever it may be. So then you will be having some clarity. Okay, these are liabilities of the firm, these are assets of the firm. I think you will be having some fair measure of financial position of the existing partnership firm where you want to join as a new partner because you got an offer from the particular firm. So then this is what actually first you should look into it. Then after looking into it, then you should be now basically after looking at it, after having discussion, there will be an agreement among the old partners, say X and Y, and new partners, say Z. These three people will be sitting together and then they will be having some discussion. What of this discussion? The land, building, plant and machinery, furniture, etc. are shown at book value, no? Book value. What is book value, sir? This is nothing but cost minus depreciation. This depreciation keeps on changing year after year. Cost minus depreciation every year. Cost minus depreciation. Cost minus depreciation. This depreciation you keep on charging every year. So every year what will happen? The book value keeps on diminishing. So land, building, plant and machinery, furniture. I am talking about fixed assets. These all are called as fixed assets now. So this book value. Now, you know that there are two values, market value and book value. Now, when you consider market value, when you consider book value, if it is a going concern concept, we consider book value. If you are going to discontinue the business, we consider which value? Market value. When you are continuing your business, we will be showing assets at book value. When you don't want to continue your business, you want to discontinue, then you look at the market value. But what happens when somebody is coming and joining with you, is we are taking somebody as a new partner, if you show book value, what happens? Say for example, you take land book value is 5 lakhs. This land was purchased, and for your kind information, I am giving an example where land, generally there is appreciation but there is no depreciation. But land has been shown in the books at cost price. Land has been shown at cost price. The same cost price is nothing but book value. Only for land I am talking about. I think you know book value, depreciation, cost price, depreciation. Land or say land and building, if you and combine, I think you will be having more clarity, then there will not be any problem. Land and building means cost price, depreciation will come to book value. So book value is 5 lakhs. Now what happens after 5 years, after Z is being admitted, after 5 years they want to discontinue the partnership business, and this land will be sold, no? Land and building will be sold, and you know for land there is appreciation, building there is depreciation. So let us assume after 5 years if they want to sell this land, it may fetch them 25 lakhs, say for example. So 5 lakhs minus 25 lakhs, 20 lakhs is profit. This 20 lakhs profit, who is also having the share? Z. Who is also having the share? Z. If they are going to sell, they are going to sell this land and building after how many years I told you? 5 years after Z has joined, after Z joining the firm, after 5 years if they want to sell 25 lakhs. That means the 20 lakhs who is having the share now? X, Y, Z. Okay. So Z without putting any effort is getting the share, no? Okay, let me put it this way. If on the date of admission the market value is say 15 lakhs. Right, understand? On the date of admission, this is market value 15 lakhs. This is market value on the date of sale after 5 years. What is the profit? 10 lakhs. Now, if you are in the position of X and Y, which profit you want to distribute? Option A 20 lakhs, option B 10 lakhs. From whose point of view? X and Y. Obviously, it is clear which one you want, which one you don't want to distribute. This one. Which one you want to distribute? 10 lakhs. The reason is that this 15 lakhs appreciation on the date of admission, 5 lakhs has become 15 lakhs, no? 10 lakhs appreciation belongs to whom? Belongs to old partners. Belongs to old partners. Up to the date of admission, whatever the appreciation of the value of asset, who are entitled to get the benefit? Old partners are entitled to get the benefit. The reason I have explained you, my dear friend, that's it. Simple words. Then my purpose of explaining this example is that whenever there is appreciation of asset, increase in the value of asset on the date of admission is to be considered, because the benefit shall pass on to who? Old partners. Because new partner straight away, if he comes, if there is no change in this, then he is getting an advantage. He will be in advantage position, because without putting the effort, he is also getting a share of the old partners also, no? If you record 15 lakhs on the date of admission, he can get a share of 10 lakhs because this is a hard work of the old partners because of their investment of land 5 lakhs, it has become 25 lakhs when they have decided to go for dissolution. That is why, to avoid this advantage to new partner, the old partners, what they want to go for is that they want to go for revaluation. Now I am using the word revaluation of asset on the date of admission. So today's class, my intention of telling you this is that you want to go for revaluation of assets and liabilities. So this is an advantage point from who? Old partner point of view. So whatever the adjustments we are discussing, of course, you are taking into confidence of the new partner also before going for revaluation of assets. So land and building, plant and machinery, furniture, vehicles, any asset, that asset must be revalued. When you go for evaluation, sometimes asset value may increase or sometimes asset value may decrease, but compulsory you should go for revaluation of assets and revaluation of assets. Similarly, the debtor and bills receivable, these are current assets. No? The current asset, just we want to cross check what is the realizable value. Realizable value means whether debtor has become bad debt or bills receivable has become bad debt. This current assets also you should go for revaluation. But cash, there is no revaluation. Cash, I am having 500 rupees with me today. Tomorrow it will increase. No, cash will remain same. So only you should look at the revaluation of assets in case of assets, but not in case of that is excluding cash. You should go for excluding cash and bank balance. You should go for revaluation of assets. This is point number 1. Sir, you are only talking about revaluation of assets. Yes, I am only talking about for the time being revaluation of assets. Now, similarly, you are also having some liabilities now. Generally, the liabilities. For these liabilities, I will be using the word called as reassessment. What is reassessment? I cannot go for revaluation. I cannot go to market. This is creditors with 50,000. What is the market value? People will laugh at you. So it's not question of any revaluation. Even though we use the word revaluation account, but right word to be used is reassessment of liabilities. Reassessment means liability means because of failure to pay interest, liability may increase. Okay, I think, and suppose one of the creditor is not traceable, he has left his business. So then there is a saving in making the payment to creditors. I think these kind of things may happen. So that is why you should go for reassessment of liabilities. Okay. So I think I have explained you revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities. For that we will be opening an account called as revaluation. And sometimes here I have not written, we will be having some reserves. Reserves. They are called as undistributed profits. These reserves are nothing but savings relating to whom? Partners. So this will be distributed to whom? Old partners. So two things I have explained to you. Revaluation, reserve. Okay, now you should be looking at as a new partner point of view. You will be asking what is my share as a new partner. The share of profit and loss. Then point number 2, how much capital I need to bring. These two questions you will be asking. And then from old partner's point of view, they will be telling, this is my reputation, you are supposed to bring this much goodwill. So now I am adding 3 more points to these adjustments. One is profit sharing ratio, the other one is capital contribution of the new partner, goodwill, revaluation of assets and liability, reserve. These 5 are the adjustments which we need to make when a partner has been admitted. Is this clear? So I think these things I am giving you like an important side headings for you to remember. So when we go to partnership accounts, I think you'll be able to work out the problems if you understand these basic things. Okay. So let me go for this now. Okay. When a partner is admitted, the following adjustments are required. Now, point number 1. Profit sharing ratio. Now, while doing the problems, this is from problems point of view, I am telling you, we need to remember that when we need new profit sharing ratio. Is this clear? You should understand when we need new profit sharing ratio. When we need new profit sharing ratio. A new profit sharing ratio is needed when raised goodwill is written off. This I explained in the last class. That means for doing the problem, when raised goodwill, I told you goodwill can be raised and written off. Which ratio I need? New profit sharing ratio for working out the problem. Then I'll be explaining later on. When memorandum revaluation account is opened. When memorandum revaluation account is opened, I need to go for which one? I need to go for new profit sharing ratio. I need to go for new profit sharing ratio. So point number 1, tell me when raised goodwill is written off, when memorandum revaluation account is opened, I need new profit sharing ratio. Then when partners' capitals are changed. That is when partners' capitals are adjusted. We will be discussing these two things later on. This already we have discussed in goodwill chapter. These two things I will be explaining in due course of time. So for the time being, whenever you are starting the problem admission adjustment, first you should look at profit sharing ratio. In that profit sharing ratio, you should understand when I need new profit sharing ratio. The new profit sharing ratio is required when raised goodwill is written off, when memorandum revaluation account is opened, or when partners' capitals are adjusted. I need to find out new profit sharing ratio. If new profit sharing ratio is given in the problem, no problem. If new profit sharing ratio is not given, we need to accept it. And we will be discussing that in the due course of time, how to calculate new profit sharing ratio. Then, second point, I will be discussing with you. The second point is that the sacrificing ratio. Sacrificing ratio, I told you already, old minus new. When you need sacrificing ratio in the problem, you know sacrificing ratio I want, but when you need sacrificing ratio in the problem, okay, when you need sacrificing ratio, when new partners share of goodwill is adjusted to old partners capital account. I told you that there were four situations. Last one is when goodwill is paid privately. When new partner share of goodwill is adjusted to old partners capital accounts. I think you need which ratio, my dear friends? Sacrificing ratio. This is already discussed. New partner brings a share of goodwill in cash. It is to be credited to old partners in their sacrificing ratio. Or when new partner is unable to bring a share of goodwill, I have given the entry new partners capital account data to old partners capital account. So that means I need sacrificing ratio. When new partner share of goodwill is adjusted to old partners capital account, when new partner share of goodwill is adjusted to old partners capital account, I need which ratio? Sacrificing ratio. So first point I will discuss with you is profit sharing ratio. Now let us look at the second point. Now here I will be writing revaluation account. The revaluation account is to be opened the revaluation account is to be opened for revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities. Revaluation account is opened for evaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities. So, revaluation account is the second point that we should open. Now, here I will be giving entries for revaluation, because sometimes they will be asking entry for evaluation. And today, just at the beginning of the class, I told you asset value may be appreciated or asset value may be depreciated. Here I am writing. Entry for increase in the value of asset. Entry for increase in the value of asset. When asset increases, asset account should be debited. Asset account data are to revaluation account. Some people they will be using the word P&L adjustment also. I think better you go for revaluation account, or if he is in the examination is asking you to open P&L adjustment, you open P&L adjustment account instead of which account? Revaluation account. Is this clear? So revaluation account is also called revaluation account is also called as P&L adjustment account with some books. So, but traditionally we'll be using the word revaluation account. Asset account data to revaluation account. Second entry. Entry for decrease in the value of asset. Entry for decrease in the value of asset. It's a loss, no? Revaluation account is a nominal account, my dear friends. Nominal account expenses and losses is to be debited. And that way asset account shows which balance? Debit balance. When there is decrease in asset, we credit the asset account to asset account. Revaluation account data to asset account. And third point. Entry for increase in the value of liability. Entry for increase in the value of liability. Entry for increase in the value of liability shows which balance? Trade balance. So when the liability increases, a loss. So you write entry revaluation account data to liability account. Okay, fourth entry. Entry for decrease in the value of liability. Entry for decrease in the value of liability. Liability shows credit balance. When there is a decrease, you should debit liability account. Liability account data revaluation, and liability decreases, it's a gain. So that is where revaluation account is being created. And sometimes you may come across this unrecorded liability. Unrecorded liability means like credit purchase has been omitted. So then what happens, like increase in the liability. Liability increases, there is a loss. So entry for unrecorded liability. Example, credit purchases omitted. The entry will be, it's a loss. So loss means revaluation account is to be debited. Say you have purchased goods on credit but you have forgotten to record it. Then what will happen? When you record it, liability will increase. Liability increases means it's a loss. Revaluation account data unrecorded liability. If the name of the liability is given like creditor, you can credit creditors. Otherwise, you can write unrecorded liability. Same is the case. Entry for opposite. Entry for unrecorded asset. Entry for unrecorded asset. Example, credit sales omitted. There I have told you credit purchase omitted. A credit sales omitted means you have sold goods but you are not recorded. That means then it is affecting your profit. No? When you record credit sales, what will happen? Your profit will increase. So the entry is unrecorded asset, or if the name of the asset is given like debtor, you can write debtor. Unrecorded asset account debtor to revaluation account. So how many entries have given total? 6 entries. You can see right from the beginning. Entry for increasing the value of asset, asset to revaluation. Entry for decreasing the value of asset, revaluation to asset. Entry for increasing the value of liability, revaluation to liability. Entry for decreasing the value of liability, liability to revaluation. Entry for unrecorded liability, revaluation account data to unrecorded liability. Entry for unrecorded asset account data to revaluation. Next 7th one, finally you'll be closing revaluation account. Then I am writing entry for profit. This revaluation of assets and reassessment of liability, benefit should be given to whom? Old partners. And revaluation account credit side shows more, it is a profit. When revaluation account debit side shows, it is a loss. So I am writing entry for profit. Profit is revaluation account data to old partners capital accounts. Old partners capital account. Which ratio? I think by this time you are comfortable with PSR word. Old profit sharing ratio. And using the word. This will not be given to new partner. Entry for loss. Reverse it. Old partners capital account debtor. Old partners capital account debtor. Old profit sharing ratio. To revaluation account. I think these entries are for which one? Revaluation. Or for easily remembering this, okay, what I do here, in simple, let me explain this in this fashion. It will be useful to you. You can easily follow this. Here, this arrow mark is increase. Increase in asset. You credit which account? Revaluation. For you to remember easily. Decrease in asset. You debit which account? Revaluation account. Then increase in liability. You debit which account? Revaluation. Decrease in liability. You credit which account? Revaluation. You can see increase in asset, decrease in liability. There is a gain, no, so revaluation account is to be created. Decrease in asset or increase in liability, loss, revaluation account is debited. Unrecorded asset, gain, no, it should be created. Unrecorded liability, loss, no, it should be debited. The following is simple. Is it simple or not? URL, unrecorded liability. URA, unrecorded asset. Then increase in asset, decrease in liability, unrecorded asset, gain. Decrease in asset, increase in liability, unrecorded. All the above entries has been put it in this way. Then it's simple. Credit side more profit. You know, revaluation account to profit. If debit side is more, debit side total is more, it is a revaluation loss. Revaluation loss. In this way also you can understand, right? So I've explained you so far 2 points. I've explained you for adjustment. One is entry for increase in the value of this is I told you starting point. Profit sharing ratio I told you. Second point of revaluation of assets and liabilities. Do one thing otherwise. Let me put it second point. Let me put it first point. Profit sharing ratio has been completed. Revaluation of assets and liabilities. Next. Third point. Third point is about treatment of goodwill. So I think this has been already discussed on admission of partner. Already we have discussed in previous chapter. In previous class. A new partner brings his share of goodwill in cash. So this is third point. Next, coming back to the fourth point. is transfer of undistributed profits and losses. Transfer of undistributed profits and losses. Transfer of undistributed profits means I told you entry for undistributed profits. Here I am writing examples. General reserve. This is saving belongs to old partner. General reserve or reserve fund or P&L account credit balance, workmen compensation fund. For workers, for any compensation, you are creating some reserve out of your profit. Workmen compensation fund, etc. They are called as, tell me, undistributed profits. What is the entry for undistributed profit? Undistributed profit account data to old partners capital account. If name is given, then you write general reserve to old partners capital account. Which ratio? Old profit sharing ratio. This is point number A. Sorry, this is A only. No? Already I have written there. So entry for undistributed profit. Then B. Entry for undistributed losses. Entry for undistributed losses. Entry for undistributed losses. Here, examples. Generally, you are having for the time being profit and loss account, debit balance. Previously, we saw so many examples. Like deferred revenue expenditure concept was there. Now it doesn't have any significance. Only for the time being, undistributed profits, you can take example of P&L account, debit balance. Okay, or we can say accumulated losses. It is also called as accumulated losses. So the entry is undistributed loss is a loss. No, it should be debited to whom? Old partners capital. Old partners capital account data to undistributed losses. Okay, so this is point number 4. So I have told you already about revaluation of assets and liability. First I have started with when you are doing admission of partner, you should be remembering these things: profit sharing ratio, then revaluation of assets and liabilities. Just like a checklist I am giving for you to work out the problem. And don't panic about looking at the lengthiness. When we work out the problems, few problems, you'll be comfortable. The revaluation account, instead of writing the entries, this way also you can remember, like revaluation asset, revaluation liability, revaluation to unrecord liability, asset to revaluation, liability revaluation, unrecord asset revaluation. In this way also, even if you don't remember the entries, if you remember this will be advantage. You can do ledger account or you can write the entries also. Treatment of goodwill, already we have discussed in the last class. transfer of undistributed profits and losses. Is this clear? So how many points I've explained so far? 4 points I've explained. Next, fifth point, which I will be discussing today, is about capital contribution of the new partner. Fifth point. Capital contribution by the new partner. Cash or we bring check or DD. Cash or bank account at R2. New partner's capital account. Okay, this is simple. If you bring 50,000 towards capital, cash or bank to new partner. Or if he brings any of his asset, then you debit, like he is bringing his furniture. You write furniture account, cash account, like that. This we will discuss when a situation comes. Okay, then next, let me take you to the sixth point. Sixth point is about adjustment of capitals. I think this, when situation comes, I'll explain. Adjustment of capitals means, simple words, after new partner joining the firm, you want the capital of all partners according to their new profit sharing ratio. This I will explain when question comes. I think this I will be explaining only when problem comes. Adjustment of capitals, capital of all partners according to their new profit sharing ratio. These things I will be explaining. Otherwise, will be confusing when I explain these things here. So when we work out the problems, this point we will be discussing when we work out the problem later on. When situation comes, we discuss how to adjust the capitals. But I think this adjustment very rarely you may come across. But first 5 are very, very important. And last one, after doing it, then you will be going for, come on, tell me, new balance sheet. Seventh point, we'll be going for new balance sheet on the date of after carrying all adjustments mentioned above. And the detailed notes I am giving you, these points are important even for retirement, death also. I think the duplicating I can avoid it. So that is the reason I am giving comprehensive notes. Can you quickly sum up this? What are the adjustment we need to do? Number 1, profit sharing ratio. Profit sharing ratio can be new ratio, sacrificing. The thing is, when you need new profit sharing ratio, when you need sacrificing ratio, whether it is given in the problem or not given in the problem, then when we need to ascertain, when we need to find out the ratio, I think from that point of view, to have a clarity that I have started that. Generally, these notes I used to give in for IPC students also, previously in CA intern, now we are calling. This topic was there in foundation, that is in CPT, and also was there in CA intern. Now we are calling the intern. There in those days we used to call it IPCC. I think these notes will be having clarity of, you will be having clarity on this partnership account. I think these notes in detailed manner I have given to you because it's like a checklist for doing the admission of a partner. I think for the time being you are having only in foundation, you don't have in CA Inter, but CA Inter we are having dissolution of partnership, that in group 2. But I think this basic knowledge is maybe useful when you do partnership accounts in group 2. So let me tell you how many points we discussed. 7 points. Number 1, profit sharing ratio new or sacrificing. Then second one, revaluation of assets and liabilities were done. Third point, goodwill. We have already discussed in the last class. Fourth point, transfer of undistributed profits and losses we have discussed. Fifth point, capital contribution by the new partner. Sixth point, I have told you, adjustment of capital. This we will be discussing when a situation arises. Capital of all partners according to the new profit sharing ratio is called as adjustment of capitals and new balance sheet. That is on the date of admission after carrying all adjustment. With this we will be completing the solution part of it. I think these things will be useful. Just maybe theory, lot of theory we are having, but once if we start, I think only joint life policy will be having bit of theory. Retirement death, few points, but now the entire theory part, almost 95% theory part relating to partnership accounts has been completed. Then we can start phased manner. Admission of problems we complete. Then we discuss briefly about retirement death. Then straight away we start working on the problems. And in the meanwhile, the retirement and death, before we start, we are also having a small topic called a joint life policy. That is important from the examination point of view. That we will be discussing in retirement or death. I think for the time being, you are having clarity on admission of partner. I hope you all are following this lecture. So we'll see in the next class. Okay. Keep on revising the previous topics. Thank you very much. God bless you all.